Good morning, everyone. I'm Swati Pandey, the co-founder and CEO of Arboreal Bioinnovations. We are a plant biotechnology company focused on developing nature-based preventive solutions for diabetes and obesity. We are currently focused on stevia, which is a completely natural zero-calorie sweetener that is fast replacing sugar and even other artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose in our food and beverage products globally. We started about 5 years ago. We've had a good run. We have developed proprietary technologies across agriculture, biotechnology, and food technology. We are on a high growth path now and are looking to expand to other markets. Entrepreneurship wasn't always the plan, though. In fact, it was never the plan. Nobody in my family or even in my extended family had ever been an entrepreneur. But like they say, life is what happens to you when you're busy planning other things. So now when I look back at my life, I feel like it has been a combination of serendipity and a series of why nots that I asked myself at various points of my life. And today I'll be sharing some of those stories and instances with you. So as a kid, I was always ambitious, bright, was always among the toppers in my class, the favorite of every teacher. So when I cracked what is considered one of the most difficult examinations in the world, the IIT JEE, I wanted to pursue a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. Now, mechanical engineering, like many other streams, has been traditionally male-dominated. And if you're from India, anyone in the audience, you know what that means, right? You would have definitely heard of jokes around, men or guys studying mechanical engineering, being really sad and frustrated with, not having enough female interaction and attention. So people, even who had been to engineering schools themselves, they advised me not to make the mistake. They said that mechanical engineering as a stream wasn't suitable for a girl. And even if I decided to do it, I would have to work in a male-dominated environment. And there might be a possibility that I would not end up a job at all. A girl can't be a good mechanical engineer, they said. And I said, why not? If there weren't good jobs in this area for women, maybe I'll create one. And I went on to study mechanical engineering at IIT Dhanbad. And I luckily found another female companion there in a class of 54 students. So we were 2 girls and 52 guys in the class. So fast forward 4 years, we completed the studies, and I started looking for a job. This was 2009-10, right after the global economic meltdown. And there was a serious shortage of jobs in the market. We were told that we shouldn't be choosy, in those times. And we were lucky if we landed up any job, despite being, from one of the premier institutes of India. But luckily, that year, one of the major oil and gas services company was looking to hire mechanical engineers. And I applied for the job. During the interview, I was told that I had actually topped the written examination that they had conducted, and that they really liked my profile. But they were not going to hire me because the job was too tough for a girl, and that I won't be able to take it. And I said, why not? And I spent the entire interview trying to just convince them that I was indeed fit for the job and I could do it. But in the end, I was disappointed to not find my name in the list of selected candidates. But then an interesting thing happened. The country manager, who was leading the interview panel, he walked up to me and said that he really liked my profile and that he would like to go back and have a discussion with the H.E.R. to see if they could create a job for me. 1 week later, I learned that he had indeed kept his promise, and I was hired as the first female engineer by that company in India. That became a norm later, and they hired more and more women afterwards. So I went on to work with this company for about a year, and then decided to quit oil and gas services industry itself because I had started seeing it as one of the root causes for the worsening climate change, and I wanted to instead have a career in something that worked towards the solution, towards finding the solution, and not really being a cause of the problem. And so I won a scholarship to go to Imperial College London and do masters in sustainable energy. And the plan was simple. I wanted to get into research and have a positive impact on the world through my work. But this changed when I joined a summer school organized by the European Union. And this was the first time I got an opportunity to interact with businessmen and entrepreneurs who were working to solve a problem. They were not just driven by profit, but purpose. And so I realized that there was probably a more effective way of achieving what I wanted. And so I started exploring different ideas, and during one such exploratory visit to a remote village in central India, I found my calling. So we were having a discussion with a couple of villagers in a remote village, and just trying to understand their challenges and the problems they were facing, when one old man, who must have been 70 plus years in age, he shared that despite having agricultural land of their own, they were struggling to make ends meet because of lack of irrigation facilities. In fact, he was so distressed that he literally folded his hands in front of us and with tears in his eyes said, "Pani dila do," which is Hindi for, "Please help us get water." Now this shook me to the core. Here was a man who probably had more years in experience and wisdom than my age, was looking for hope in me. And I felt like I had the responsibility to take action. And so I decided to venture into agriculture. I started learning more and more about it. And as I did that, I learned about the dismal state of agriculture in India, but also the humongous potential it carried to actually change the lives of millions of farmers in India. And so I decided to start Arboreal with absolutely no experience in agriculture myself whatsoever. And I was told I was being crazy. Getting into an entirely new field without any experience, I was trying to do the impossible. But I said, okay, fine, why not, right? If I knew nothing about agriculture, I could certainly learn it. And then as we went on to work more and more in the agriculture sector, we found ourselves doing a lot of work and research and development in the areas of food technology and biotechnology. And the same story repeated. I was told I was being crazy trying to do it all in-house with no experience or background in any of these areas. And I said, why not? And I went on to learn a lot of it myself, but also managed to convince a lot of experts and experienced professionals in these areas to join us in the mission and guide us along the way. Today, we have IP and patentable technologies developed across all these three areas: biotechnology, agriculture, and food technology. And I remember one very experienced entrepreneur and investor telling me once that he didn't see me as an entrepreneur. He didn't think I had it in me. But I'm sure he thinks differently today. I was a woman trying to venture into agriculture and biotechnology with no background in any of these areas. Plus, I was an introvert. I liked spending time with myself more than the others. I was told that I was being crazy repeatedly, that I ticked all the wrong boxes, that I wasn't suited to be an entrepreneur. And yet here I am, 5 years into it, still going strong with multiple international awards, backed by some of the most successful entrepreneurs and investors in the sector, have built a team of brilliant experts and the most incredible people to work with. And we are looking to expand operations globally now. In no way do I say that I've arrived. In fact, the journey has just started. But if there's one thing that I've learned from my journey so far, it is to stay hungry, stay curious, and when faced with challenges risen from conventional wisdom, dare to say, why not? Thank you.